Hi everyone, welcome to JavaScript coding challenge. In today's video, you have to find the below code output and you have 4 options to select from. So the question is, you have a var a keyword which is being initialized with the value test, and you have a class test which is having a prop method, and you have a static get method, and again you are trying to create a new test method using the small case test, and you are assigning the calling the test.prop, and you are assigning the value bar, and you are accessing the prop method using the test object that you have created, and again you are calling the test.prop, and the options are any and test, any and any, reference error, prop is not a function, and the fourth option any and bar. So please try from your end and see what is the output you are getting. So let's try from our end and see what is the output we are getting. So before we deep dive into this particular question, so let's see what a class is in JavaScript and what are static members. Okay. So in JavaScript, classes are a template for creating objects, and it helps us to encapsulate the data and to work with that particular data, and it has been introduced in ES6. Okay. Before ES6, like ES5 and all, classes was not available, and this is a new concept that has been introduced from ES6. ES stands for ECMAScript. And what are static members? The static members can be either a property or a method that's available within a class, and it can be called without instantiating the class, and it cannot be called through a class instance when we are actually creating a new class object and we cannot access the static members. So for accessing the static members, we can actually call the class, and the particular property or method we can directly call that, and we need not instantiate the class, and this value will be undefined inside the method. So let's see in action what does that mean. So we have a var keyword, okay, a var a keyword which is being initialized with the value test, and we have a class test which is having a member a, it is having a method prop, and in that we are trying to print this dot a and returning a, and we have a static getter method which is also prop, and it's also printing console.log of a, returning a, and we have we are trying to create a new class, create a new object of that particular class test using the small case test, and then we have test, we are trying to call that test.prop and assigning that to bar, and we are calling the test.prop method, and again we are trying to call the test.prop. And so what it does is, when you are actually this is a prop method, okay, this is a non-static method. Within the non-static method, this will be, we will be able to access the members of that class using this keyword, but this particular keyword will not be able to access these members for the static methods, but this for this dot a, it will be able to reference the a that's present in the class. Okay, and it's trying to return a, so whether this a will be this class member or the global a, so that we need to check, and the static dot get, it's also trying to print a, so whether this a will be actually this particular a, and it's also returning a. And this test.prop means it is calling the static method and it's trying to assign bar, but this will not work because this is a static getter method. So for setting the value, we have to have a static setter method as well. So there is a getter and setter concept, and through this we will be able to achieve the encapsulation. Okay, so the outside world will not be knowing the logic that's present within the class. And when we are actually calling this test.prop method, so this particular non-static method will be called. Okay, so that will be called, and we will be able to see which the value a is getting. And again we are calling the static method test.prop because we need not instantiate, and if you try to call test.prop, okay, if I try to test.prop, okay, so this particular thing will not work. Okay, if I try to do that, so we will check on that. Okay, so first we will debug that and then we will see. So let me run this. So this particular script I am having it in the index.html. So let me run this index.html and make sure that everything is running fine, and here I will be opening the sources, and in the sources I will put breakpoints over here, yeah, okay, and let me refresh the page. So now you can see it has actually ran over here. Okay, now a has been, the script is test, there is a class test, and there is a variable. Okay, and in the global you can see a is already there, which is undefined. Now we will be running that. Now if I press F10, okay, now a has been initialized to test, and there is a test class, and in the test class you can see there is a prop. Okay, there is a prop test. So this is referring to the static getter method. Okay, so this is already having the value test. Okay, so this is referring to the global variable. Okay, so the global a, and now if I press F10, okay, now if I press F10, okay, now again I press F10, and now what it does is it is calling the static method. Okay, test dot test dot prop equal to bar. Now then also you can see here the prop will be test. Okay, because this is just a getter method, so the value will not get updated to this bar. Now we are trying to call the test dot prop method. This is the non-static method. So you can see here this particular method is called. Now if you press this dot, this you can see here a, it is referring to the one that is present within the class, and it is not referring to the global variable. Okay, so this dot a means it is referring to whatever is value is available within that, and this return a, this is different. So this is referring to the global variable, but this dot a, it is referring to whatever is present within the class. Okay, so this refers to the class members, and this dot a means it is referring any, and return a will return a test. Okay, now if I press F10, okay, so the prop method is returning a, that is test. Okay, sorry for the inconvenience. Now if I call test dot prop, this is the static method, and here you can see this is already referring to the global variable, and here actually this will not refer to the whatever variable present within the class. Okay, it is not available over there, and it is actually considering the global variable. Okay, and now if I press F10, so you can see here this is called, and this is test, and that particular will be consoled, and it's also returning test. Okay, so this is not considering the whatever value is available within that class. So now if I go to the console, you can see here it is any and test. So let me refresh it. So let me remove these breakpoints, so that you will be having a clear idea what is getting printed. Okay, so if I print this, you can see here it is any and test. So let me refresh and show you this is any and test, and hence the option A will be the right answer. Okay, so what it does is just a recap of what happened for the class. So for the non-static method, this dot a refers to the value within that class member. So this refers to whatever value is available over here, and return a means it is taking the global variable. So you can see here var a equal to string, and in the static method this will not be available, and console dot log of a. So if I put this dot a, okay, so that what will happen, similar to the static non-static method, if I put this dot a, you can see here, okay, it is undefined. So this is not available for static methods, it is just available for whatever is present in, that is for the non-static. For the static this is undefined, so you can see here this value will be undefined inside the method. Okay, for static method, so this dot a is not defined, that is why it is taken as a, and you can see here, okay, that is what it does. And test dot prop, this value was not assigned because we are just having a getter method, so there is no setter method that has been called, and hence the value assignment will not work, and hence a bar will not be getting printed, it will be printing the test itself. So I hope you got an idea about what a class is, what are static members. Okay, so just a recap, classes are a template for creating objects, and it has been introduced in year 6. It helps us to encapsulate the data. And what are static members? It can be a property or a method, and for it can be called without instantiating the class. When we instantiate, this cannot be, the static members cannot be called, and this value will be undefined inside the method. So that's it for today's video. Thanks a lot for watching.